Hello everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Adinda Zahrah Salsabila with student number 110 from English Poetry 1 Class B. So, today I'm going to briefly discuss the representation of poverty in Morning at the Window by Thomas Stearns Eliot. Okay, without any further ado, let's jump into the discussion. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So first I will explain the submaterial that will going to be discussed in this discussion. The first one is introduction, which will discuss the poet's biography and the poem. And the second one is the topic or issue, which will be discussing about what topic or issue is brought up in the poem. And the third one is analysis, which will be analyzing the theme, elements, and devices. And the last one is conclusion, which will be discussing the brief summary of the discussion. Okay, moving forward to the next slide. Introduction. That will be discussing the poet's biography and the poem. Okay, moving forward to the next slide. About the poet, Thomas Stearns Eliot, or known as T.S. Eliot, was an American English poet, a playwright, literary critic, and also an editor. He was born on 26th of September 1888 in St. Louis, Missouri, the United States. Eliot graduated from his major, literature, and successfully earned bachelor and master degree from Harvard University precisely in the year of 1910. And after he graduated, he decided to be a poet. And in 1916, eventually he had written and published one of his well-known poems entitled The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock when he was just 23 years old. Lastly, he died on 4th of January 1965 in London, England. Okay, moving forward to the next slide. This is the poem by Thomas Stearns Eliot entitled Morning at the Window. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. The second submaterial will be topic or issue, which will discuss what topic or issue is brought up in the poem. So, Morning at the Window was a poem written in 1914, and later years, precisely in 1916, it was eventually published right after the outbreak of World War I. There is a significant issue that is discussed and pointed out in this poem by the poet, which is poverty issue. This poem portrayed poverty, unhappiness, separation of the poor ones due to living condition in the specific areas such as urbanized cities. The rapid development of industrialization and urbanization tended to cause the cities overcrowded and adverse impacts towards people who barely couldn't survive to fulfill their daily needs. Moving forward to the next slide. The next one is analysis, which will be analyzing the theme, elements, and devices. Okay, next. There will be theme, elements, and devices. The first one is theme. The theme of this poem is poverty due to the ill effects of the First World War and the rapid development of industrialization and urbanization. The second one is elements. It is divided into three types. The first one is alliteration, which is the word sprouting in stanza 1 represents a feeling of desperation, such as showing a sign. The next one is repetition. The conjunction and symbolizes the never-ending or the continuity of the people's sufferings. The last one is personification. The phrase "folk toss up to me" in stanza 2 represents the mental state of the person, the first person who visit and look at the real condition. Moving forward to the next slide. Devices. It is divided into two. There are symbol and metaphor. The first one is symbol. The word basement in stanza 1 symbolizes poverty and poor living condition, or the place's condition where the poor live. And the word fog in stanza 2 represents confusion or blurred views. It may be due to too many workers passing by along the road. The next one is metaphor. The noun phrase damp souls in stanza 1 represents the unhappy state of mind, not receiving freedom and proper life as supposed to be. The noun phrase twisted faces in stanza 2 illustrates the facial expressions of the unhappy workers due to their condition. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, which is conclusion, which will explain the brief summary of the discussion. Okay, next, the conclusion. Based on the analysis, it can be inferred that the poem entitled Morning at the Window by Thomas Stearns Eliot is considered to raise poverty issue as a subject that occurs in the poem. The poverty issue is portrayed in some of the words in each stanzas, both stanza 1 and stanza 2. The poet tried to highlight the poor people who suffer and affected due to the industrialized modern era after the outbreak of the First World War I. The First World War. Next. Here's are the references that I used to do the discussion. Next. I guess that's all from my presentation. Thank you so much for the attention and have a nice day, everyone.